How's it going, everyone? It's me, Vivi, and welcome back to another Sly Cooper related video. So, it's that time again, where we discuss the possibilities of Sly Cooper 5 or a remaster for the PS4. Am I sounding obnoxious? Maybe, but is Sly Cooper 5 impossible? No, it is not. And why is it not impossible? Well, you cannot do this. If this was added in the fourth game, then the team most likely had an idea on what to do next if, of course, the opportunity was given. It all comes down to Sony. If they added a cliffhanger, yes, they originally had intended on adding Slight in Common. If they decided to add this as a secret ending, then to me, it looks like they're not worried on trying to come up with an idea for the next game. If they had no idea about Sly Cooper 5, I think they would have left this out. And I believe that having a cliffhanger such as this was a complete mistake. If you're not gonna make another game, if you're not too sure if it's gonna happen, then why even leave this in? It's just gonna confuse people. Anyways, there is one thing I'd like to say. I am very disappointed that neither of the developers, Sucker Punch or Sanzaru, acknowledged the 15th anniversary of the series. What, the number 15 means nothing to you? Maybe, I don't know. I don't know how their minds work, but seeing as how Insomniac Games mentioned the 15th anniversary of Ratchet & Clank, not only that, they also mentioned the 9th anniversary of Quest for Booty. Come on now. Does it sound like I'm complaining? I hope not. I mean, look, at least Sanzaru, if they live Sly Cooper as they say they do, why didn't they just mention happy anniversary, make fans happy? No. At this point, I feel like developers just talk, right? Yeah, we love the series, yeah, whatever. As for Sucker Punch, same thing. Nothing on Twitter. They did post a bunch of pictures back, like last year, let's say. What happened? The 15th anniversary happened and nothing, not even a small picture. Pretty disappointing. But talking about Sucker Punch, they did talk about their 20th anniversary, their studio. They went over how Infamous and Sly were brought to life, the ideas, I mean. They mentioned that 15 years later, Sly Cooper is still a fun game. Yes, it is. Now, am I gonna take that as acknowledging the 15th anniversary? It was just mentioned in an article. Not everyone clicks on this article, so I take it as pretty poor. But they said Sly Cooper is still fun after all these years, definitely. Now, I understand that Sucker Punch is no longer working on Sly Cooper. Yes, you heard me. They are no longer involved with Sly Cooper, or will ever be. And why? Because they've moved on. They themselves said that the Sly series is in good hands, aka Sanzaru Games. SP, they are busy on a new project. They want to explore new fields in gaming, something which they haven't revealed yet, by the way. We don't know what their secret IP is yet. It wasn't mentioned at the E3 2017, it wasn't mentioned at the pre-Tokyo Game Show, Sony's press conference, nothing. We still got Paris Games Week happening on October 30th, and PlayStation Experience, which begins on December 9th if I'm not mistaken. And PlayStation Experience, they pretty much reveal a bunch of Sony exclusives. Oh, but Vivi, what if Sucker Punch decides to remaster Sly? It's not impossible, but seeing as how they said it's in good hands since our games, I don't see why they would decide to remaster Sly Cooper. Like, seriously, if they do remaster Sly Cooper, the whole community will start being like, oh, this means they're gonna work on Sly Cooper 5, which is something I don't believe will happen by this studio. As for Sanzaru Games, they are currently busy with virtual reality. Their recent project is Powers Unite by Marvel. And Sanzaru Games, I'm sure they have multiple teams right now. Wait, there's something I forgot to say. If Sucker Punch were to make Sly Cooper 5, to me that would sound like the team was running out of ideas. Not regarding Sly Cooper, but the studio overall. They didn't know what to do after Infamous, let's say. So they told themselves, okay, how can we make money? Yes, you heard me. These days, companies and all that, it's all about money these days. Some developers like to make it obvious. Some publishers like to make it obvious. To me, Sucker Punch going back to Sly Cooper is like saying they ran out of ideas and are using the Sly Cooper name as a way of making money again. It's the truth. It's all about business these days. If you guys disagree, share your thoughts in the comments. Explain to me why Sucker Punch would suddenly go back to Sly Cooper. If they want to explore new stuff, why would they go back? Yes, that would please the whole community, but is that the main reason they would go back to Sly Cooper? Seeing as how companies, developers, function these days when it comes to gaming. Back to Sanzaru Games. They said that they can't leave Sly in Egypt during a fan interview. That's one. And two, they said they love making games with raccoons, a reference to Rocket Raccoon in their upcoming VR game. Now this one might mean absolutely nothing, but you never know, it could be a subtle hint that they are still interested with Sly Cooper. They still are, actually. 3. It's the PlayStation 4 we're looking at right now. Sly Cooper 5 on this console, it is going to sell. And why? Because people, I feel like these days they're getting tired of the old, mature, intense graphic shooter games. Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy is a very good example. It is now at 2 million copies sold. Global. Ratchet & Clank is another great example. Ratchet & Clank PS4 sold very well. Knack 2. I'm hearing good things about it, how it's better than the first one. Knack is another action platformer. We still don't have the sales figures, but it is currently at number 12 on the UK sales charts for September. Sure, it's not top 10, but it's still considered top 20, which is very good. 4. Scott Rode said that they would never retire an IP, meaning that Infamous, for example, could return, but Sucker Punch, they're not working on Infamous right now. Sly Cooper is another IP. That could also be an IP which they wouldn't retire. Another thing, Sean Layden. On June 23rd, 2017, okay, I'm late on this, but to be honest, I had no idea about this interview until someone sent me this on Twitter. A French reporter interviewed Sony Interactive Entertainment's CEO, Sean Layden, about E3 2017. Now the video is in French, I will translate to you guys the most important points. Key points. Layden explained that we looked at the experience we were able to give to players for 20 years of Sony PlayStation. Some titles were very well known back then. We are trying to find a way to bring these stories back. He said they like story-driven games. Sly Cooper is one. It can even be heavier driven, like I've said in past videos. Ratchet & Clank is one. They brought it back. They're bringing back Shadow of Colossus by Bluepoint Games. A remake. People call it a remaster, but I like to call it a remake. I think even Yoshida said it's a remake. Now about Ratchet & Clank PS4. Sean Layden said that only 20% of PS4 users experienced Ratchet & Clank before. I'm not too sure what he's trying to say. Did he compare the number of sales on the PS2 to the number of PS4 console sales? The sales of Ratchet & Clank on PS2 equaling 20% of PS4 sales? Is that what he meant? I think so. So with that being said, 80% never experienced Ratchet & Clank. That's what he said. If so, the same thing could be said for Sly Cooper. Since they saw this 80% of people not experiencing Ratchet & Clank, they decided to bring it back to the PS4. Why not do the same for Sly Cooper? He's also said we're looking at opportunities to bring back games, franchises that people want to experience again. Sly Cooper, in my opinion, should be one of them. And we don't have games like these anymore on the PS4 that much. Sly Cooper 5 is going to sell well. Stop looking at the sales figures for Sly 4. That was a PS3 game. And I'm gonna say it again, that 8-year gap between Sly 3 and Sly 4 had a huge impact on this, and to me the PS3 was trying to head into a different direction. Shooters, mature games and stuff like that. People got into that when they got the PS3. So when the PS4 got announced, well, released, people got tired of those games. Crash Bandicoot could be a very good example of explaining that. 2 million copies. The game was out on June 30th. That is crazy. And recently, talking about Sean Layden, he liked a tweet mentioning the 15th anniversary of Sly Cooper. Okay, Layden was mentioned in the tweet, but 90% of people with big statuses on Twitter ignore fan tweets. So seeing Layden like this tweet means a lot. That means that Sony hasn't forgotten about Sly Cooper. But in the end, this might mean nothing. I'm just happy to see Sly Cooper being acknowledged by a CEO. That is absolutely great. Last thing, Sly Cooper has potential to grow even further. I will dive into detail in other videos. So with that being said, what do you guys think? Should we give up? Should we lose hope on Sly Cooper 5? Some of you probably already did. I for one am a guy who's very optimistic when it comes to Sly Cooper. Alright, go on ahead and hate me for it, call me stupid, call me being unrealistic, I do not care. All I do know is, I have hope. With the TV show happening, I feel like something is afoot. One thing I would like to see at PlayStation Experience is a remaster for the PS4, Sly 1, 2, 3, and 4 on one disc with fixed bugs and load times. That would be absolutely sweet. And that could be a way of testing the waters if Sony is not too sure about Sly Cooper. Now, Sean Layden's Lake, could it be a subtle hint towards a remaster? I don't think so, but you never know. I know that the like wasn't from Shuhei Yoshida, the one person Sanzaru has asked fans to tweet at multiple times. Yoshida is the president of Worldwide Studios, so I think he makes the call ultimately. So I'm going to shut up and I'll leave you guys at it. Leave your thoughts in the comments as usual. Do you feel like it's time they bring Sly Cooper 5 to the PS4? I'll leave it at that, alright? I've been Vivi and thank you for watching.